Episode 4 Modern Woman. This episode depicts a fictional representation of modern paganism in Denmark. Any similarities is coincidental. The following day outside Leia's house. You park on the side of the road and get out, the light drizzle prompting you to pull your jacket closer around your neck. We should have brought umbrellas. It's barely raining. You're about to lock the car when you realize you're missing something. Wait. Glasses? Really? Okay. I'll go with the Sao Paulo, I know. Yes, continue. Let's go. I'm getting soaked. Yes, on my way. You enter the living room. Leia's walking around aimlessly, glancing around out the window at regular intervals. Good morning. How are you doing? Fine, I'm fine. Did you see anyone on the road? You share a brief glance with Safa. Are you expecting someone? No, I'm not. She stops at the window and wraps her arms around herself a little tighter, staring into the distance. Leia, we've come to do another indoor search. On the way over, Safa had given a rundown of the most important findings from the lab. It had been a long day, and Safa herself had to step in to assist. Hundreds of samples, not a single unaccounted fingerprint, just smudges on dirt and traces of wood particles. Some of the evidence placed the intruder in the living room, at some point while Leia was sleeping, looking for valuables, perhaps, or more chillingly, to watch her before taking her child. Vulnerable, completely unaware. You focus on the least horrible reason. If items were taken, they need to be identified. You approach her. I have a question. Have you noticed any items missing? Valuables, memorabilia of some sort, perhaps? Not really. I've not been checking. Her voice is small and barely audible. She's looking through you as she speaks. We're past the first 72 hours of her son's disappearance. Her hopes of finding him alive are rapidly declining. You observe the young mother. Her shoulders tremble ever so slightly, and it sends a pang through your chest. I'm sorry you have to go through this. Yeah. You chide yourself for the empathy you're feeling right now. It's police work 101. Don't let your emotions guide your hand, but it's hard. Something inside you ignites for the ones left behind, the ones who have to endure the loss. They must be heard. I'm just wondering what he's doing right now if he's scared. Her eyes are still fixated on the horizon, but she lifts her hand to her mouth and bites down, trying to stem the flow of tears. You turn to your officer and talk quietly. Officer Muhammad, would you mind giving Krista a call? I think she's back today. He understands your request for backup and takes out her phone. Leia, I'm going to go do a little search around the house, looking for any obvious signs of disturbance. My officer will stay with you, but I may call on you to come verify things, okay? She nods, but is otherwise trapped in the prison of her own thoughts. You push open the door to the bedroom in a slow movement. The hinges creaking, Leia's distress lingers, but you still have to focus. She's counting on you. It's dark, cold in the bedroom, and the window has been boarded up temporarily as a precaution. You put on a pair of gloves and attune your senses to begin the search. You hope to find anything that will make sense of the intruder's actions. Let's see. Search the crib, toy basket, chest of drawers, shelf. I guess start with the most obvious place, crib. You walk up to the crib, a white bed with wooden bars along its sides. It's been stripped of sheets, but you see a dark spot on the side with a muddy handprint. It was raining. The intruder got mud on his gloves. When he took the child, it transferred onto the mattress. You check along the sides, then lift the mattress up. Something falls out and lands at your feet. What's this? Some sort of doll? A stick figure. Okay, toy basket, search chest of drawers, shelf, drawers? A large chest of drawers takes up a good amount of space in the room. The drawers need a bit of a tug to open. Baby underwear, pants, sweaters, they look secondhand, but appear to be in good condition. The bottom drawer is partially difficult to open. Something feels stuck. You wiggle the drawer from side to side until something drops out from underneath. What's that? Another stick figure. Okay. Hearing footsteps, you look up and see Safa in the doorway. She's brought her forensic kit and places it on the floor. Krista's here. How's it going? Look at this. I found 2 stick figures hidden in the room. Looks like willow branches bent into shape. You hold out the figures for Safa to examine. She brings out 2 clear evidence bags and hands them to you. That would explain the wood traces. Good job. Let's, bag them. Safa is carefully labeling the findings when Leia's voice, high-pitched and agitated, reaches you from the living room. Well, I guess I picked the right choices. I thought you were going to be able to pick them all and search, but okay. Go. You both hurry out and down the hall, only to find Krista standing with her hands up in surrender. He's out there, it's not me! Leia picks up a cup and hurls it in Krista's direction, who in turn ducks down behind a chair. The cold tea splatters across the floor as the cup cracks and splinters. You're as bad as them! Diffuse the situation, ask Safa to help Leia, run to Krista. Diffuse the situation. Okay, Leia, please look at me. You approach slowly, the young woman. Hands raised, your voice calm and unhurried. Officer Brandt will step back now, okay? I don't know what she said to you, but let's take a deep breath and consider the situation. Inhaling audibly, you try to make eye contact with Leia. She reluctantly turns her face to look at you. Gita. It's okay, I'm right here, I'm on your side. She clenches her fists, turning to stare daggers at the cowering officer. She said she was on my side, too. I'm sorry, Leia. I'm just following orders. Just following orders? Then I order you to find my son. Can you do that? Do things just happen if you're ordered to do them? Krista helplessly looks over to you. I'm not familiar with these orders, Krista. Can you elaborate? She's arresting me. She wants to arrest me. That's not what I said. What did you say? I've been asked to take her in for questioning. Kind of one and the same, it's just a kinder way. Surprise and opposition are written on your face. You shake your head and continue in a low voice. What do you mean? Did Heidegger order this? But we had this conversation yesterday. You have to ask him. I wasn't here, remember? He just called me on the way over and asked that I bring her in. Her exasperation and lack of consideration is irritating, but you choose to let it slide. The real question is what Henrik is up to. You turn to look at your partner. Safa raises an eyebrow, not happy about the situation either. Too many things are happening at once. The search, stick figures, new orders. We can't continue the search. With a sigh, you resign to let the situation run its course. I'm sorry, Leia, but we best get down there. I'm certain you're not under arrest. It sounds like a follow-up interview. Follow-up on what? I answered all your questions. I don't want to... Please, can you call Anders? Please, I need Anders. I agree to notify Anders of her whereabouts on the way, and then ask if she has anything or anyone she could stay with for a few days. She gives you the number of her friend, Maja. Outside the house, you walk together to the car. You next to Leia, Safa, and Krista behind you. The helpful neighbor has opened his front door and is blatantly gawking as you pass. Further along the road, other neighbors join in. Really? Leia notices the spectacle. She grits her teeth, but the attention becomes too much. In a sudden explosive movement, she charges the spectators and screams at the top of her lungs. "This is what you wanted, right? To drive me away?" Pain and fury drip from her words, making the audience recoil, grab a hold of her, stopping her from moving any closer. "Where is he, you bastards? Where?" At that, she finally crumbles in your arms, sobbing. Safa comes to your assistance, and together you guide her into the car. As you turn to look back, you catch a glimpse of the neighbor. It looked like he was putting his phone away. Did he just take a photo? Vultures. Yeah, well, that's how people are nowadays. Soon after, at the village hall. When you arrive at the temporary office, you're greeted by Henrik and Asker. The commissioner directs Krista to take Leah to the interrogation room, while Asker nervously looks from his superior to you. As soon as Leah is out of earshot, you confront the commissioner. "Sir, what is going on?"
"The mother lied to us."
"We talked about this yesterday. You promised not to pursue Leah as a suspect for now."
"Listen."
The commissioner looks to the side and sighs regretfully.
"The more I thought about it, the less I trusted the girl. There were the holes in her statement, things I've been scraping together with the help of Asker."
"But Henrik..."
"I'm sorry, Blum, but this interview is going ahead. She's not under arrest, but we need her to tell us everything."
"Fine, but I want to sit in this time."
"I expect you to. Come along, then."
In the small makeshift interrogation room, Leia and Krista sit across from you, while the commissioner is to your left. Officer Brandt prepares the recorder, while the rest of you wait. The time is 10:48 a.m. Present are Leia Holt, Commissioner Henrik Hedriger, PA Gita Bloom, and myself, Krista Brandt. You turn to look at the commissioner, who folds his hands on the table.
"Miss Holt, we've called you in today to clear up a few things."
The young woman stares vacantly at the table, a cup of water standing idly in front of her.
"P.A. Bloom has brought it to my attention that you were excommunicated from your church around a year ago. Can you confirm this for us on record?"
She nods slowly.
"I need you to make a verbal confirmation for the tape."
"Yes." The mood is tense. Your superior follows up with a few clarifying questions regarding your situation, but soon moves on to questions about the pastor and his wife.
"When was the last time you spoke with them?"
"A few months after Alfred was born. They came to berate me for naming him already. They still wanted to get rid of him."
"You mean hand him over to the authorities?"
She shrugs. It's a painful memory she would rather suppress. "What do you mean they berated you for naming him?" "High seniority puts you on par with your superior. Yay, look at me, woo." The commissioner lets you take over the interview for a moment so he can make a notation. "In the church, you're not supposed to name the babies before they're 1 year old. It's bad luck." No wonder I have bad luck following me around everywhere." She swallows hard as she says this. "But I wanted to call him Alfred. It's my baby. I should be able to name him when I want to." You nod sympathetically. The commissioner continues, but Leia's attention is rapidly waning. He repeatedly returns to questions surrounding her whereabouts in the weeks leading up to Alfred's disappearance. You can tell Heidegger is trying to trick her into revealing inconsistencies. He's really pressing her, but she seems determined on the matter. There aren't any obvious discrepancies between the statement and her old one. Something also tells me Anders wouldn't be so fixated on handing out justice himself if he thought she'd have anything to do with it.
"And I'll ask you again, why were you seen washing the wall underneath the bedroom window?"
"I wasn't washing it. I was erasing the stupid mark." The interview is going nowhere, just as you feared. You venture to interrupt Heidegger for a second time. "When we left your house, you shouted at the neighbors. The man who lives across from you in particular. Who is he?" "Lars. He's an a-hole. To him, I deserve everything that's coming to me. If he can contribute, he'll see it as his duty to God, I'm sure." "Has he been harassing you?" Since I moved in, basically. Talking about me behind my back, removing things he finds ungodly from my garden, because leaving blessings on the house. Blessings. Pull out the evidence bag with the stick figure. She freezes and stares at it in horror. Where did you find that? In Alfred's room. Is this a blessing? She shakes her head vigorously, pressing her lips together. Edgar looks curiously from her to the bag.
What is it, then?
She continues to shake her head. She looks terrified. It's okay. It's just a stick figure. It can't hurt you. Yeah, tell it to the witches who do those little voodoo bags or whatever. Or witch bags is what they call. No, I thought I got them all. I got them all. You exchange a look with your fellow officers. Without uttering a word, you request that they allow you to proceed. Leia, look at me. Ooh, we're barely there. Okay. What does the stick figure mean? It's the changeling. You know the story from your grandmother. The changelings were the things left behind when a troll stole a child. Do you mean to say that this piece of wood represents a child? She nods stiffly. Both Hediger and Officer Brandt look confused. This little figure means that a troll stole your baby? No, I mean, yes, that's what it means, but no, it's a stupid lie. And you found more of these in Alfred's room? Yes, but I burned them. I threw them outside, I burned them. They're trying to make me think that this was inevitable, but it's a lie. She looks at you pleadingly. Someone did this, a human, not a troll. They think I'm crazy because I don't believe, but I'm not. God wouldn't do this, please, Gita. You have to believe me. She breaks down in uncontrollable sobs. We can't continue.
Fine. We're stopping.
Outside the interrogation room, you fetch Leia a fresh cup of water. She accepts it, but her eyes are vacant, her movements slow and dreamlike. She's getting worse. The sound of the front door being wrenched open is followed by angry footsteps and an all-too-familiar voice of an angry man. Where is she? Anders clocks you and Leia first, and turns to ask her. You let this happen, you... Anders, stop. The young man charges the local officer, who, to his credit, stands his ground while Anders gets up close, pushing his chest against him. Askers, I swear to God. Please don't. I should do something. Get between them. Anders step away. Hediger, get in there. This one's tough. Get in between them. I'm gonna go with step away. You speak in a low, authoritative voice. Anders might like to think he's no one's lapdog, but you have your own theory. Reading between the lines, Anders is still in the church despite everything that happened. He's unpredictable to the point of predictability. He's also shown that he won't be immune to your wiles. You move closer and soften your voice, addressing him gently and coaxingly. Anders, you don't want to do this. Listen to me. You ending up in jail for assaulting an officer is the last thing Leia needs. You have the young man's attention, his jaws tense as he considers the implications, and his eyes search your face for signs of deception. You're careful to look back at him sincerely, almost pleadingly. With a disgruntled groan, he backs away. The adrenaline is slowly seeping out of him. Asker visibly unclenches. Officer, are you alright? Asker nods and swallows his relief. It was a close call, closer than he would have liked. You're lucky Leia needs me. Please don't start again, Anders. Anders turns to Leia, snapping his fingers. Get up, Leia, we're going. The young woman still stares blankly ahead of her, despite Anders' attempt at pulling her hand. Leia, stand up. Slowly, she gets her feet, but then at the last moment, her knees buckle. Gita, help me. You go to support her from the other side. Together you walk her out of the village hall. Anders' car is parked close by. The square is mercifully empty, for once. Watch your head, Leia. That's right. The woman is almost catatonic. After helping her into the passenger seat, Anders closes the door carefully and turns to face you. Can you drive her to a friend Maja's place? I've arranged for her to stay at her house until further notice. She shouldn't be alone. Yeah, sure. Wait, hey. He reaches out and puts a hand on your arm, guiding you along with him away from the car. You tense up, unsure what he's trying to do, and pull your arm towards yourself out of his grip. Sorry, The young man looks uncomfortable for once. He's summoning the courage to ask for something, lowering his voice. I need to talk with you. In private or whatever. When you've dropped off Leia, you can come back here. I can take your statement. Off the record. You fix him with a stern look. Why? There are things I don't think you know yet, and I think you should know them. He glances suspiciously over his shoulder. Just meet me at Skovland Crow tonight, okay? Round 5. Anders, this is not... Please. I'm asking you nicely. Do it, please. For Leia. You purse your lips and exhales harshly. Fine, 5 o'clock at the inn. Thank you. He walks to the other side of the car and gives you a final look before getting in. You take a few steps back and watch him speed off out of the village square. Back inside the village hall, Asker and Safa are clearing up the mess left behind by the confrontation. Was she okay? I couldn't tell you. She seemed broken. Hopefully not by us. You turn to the local officer. It's about time you get a few things straight. Hedegaard trusts you, but I'll be honest with you. Your involvement in the church has me wondering if it's a mistake that you're on the case. I know you participated in the vote. I know you were the only one voting not to excommunicate her. The young officer's cheeks redden and he clears his throat uncomfortably. I can't even imagine how you found that out, but it's true. I voted no. He looks dejected at the floor. You press on. Does Hedegaard know? Yes, absolutely. I told him right after. Right after you found out about the excommunication. I want to trust you, but you have to start being straight with us. No more secrets and half-truths, alright? The officer nods. He seems sincere. No more half-truths, I promise. Ask me anything. When I spoke with Pastor Esperson yesterday, he mentioned something called the Trial of Clemency. Can you tell me what that is? It's an outreach program to combat loneliness among the elderly. An outreach program? That's interesting, because I've been asking around and it sounds more like a money-raising scheme. He's at a loss for words for a moment. Perhaps he's had to come to terms with the same realization. Sometimes the program overstretches itself, but we don't control who donates and who doesn't. It can go both ways. Please, I'm not trying to attack the work of your church, I just want to understand it. What's at the core of the pagan Church of Christ? Submission, salvation, charity. Yes, okay, but I mean why pagan? Is pagan Christianity not an oxymoron? How was the church founded? He stops what he's doing and takes a deep breath. Do you know what modern paganism is? Vaguely. Well, we're what you may call folklore-rooted pagans. We follow local traditions going back long enough to have endured the institutionalization of Christianity. Right. We believe the word of the Bible is true, but that its point of view is obscured by the fact that it's written by people from another part of the world. I mean, that makes sense. Alright, I need more details. I mean, it does make more sense. Is this a dragon? Before Christianity was introduced in Scandinavia, our ancestors were pagans. They believed in Old Norse religion, transmitted through oral culture and ritual practices. Old Norse religion had many gods and goddesses divided into Aesir and Vanir, who dominated a world filled with mythological beings alongside humans like us. It was a strong religion, vibrant, defining the connection with us, the divine powers across the centuries. It's not surprising that Scandinavia is one of the last places in Europe to accept Christianity. In Denmark, it happened gradually. It is said we worshipped the Christian God alongside our pagan idols for centuries, aligning our rituals with the teachings of the Bible. Not until a priest called Popo convinced King Harold Bluetooth, that the pagan deities were demons did the official conversion of Denmark become a reality. However, it was difficult to let go of our faith. Despite Christianity becoming an institution in our society, local rituals survive through oral tradition, sometimes in secret. I kind of like this whole pop-up book thing. I actually kind of dig it. Sonder Esne was one of the places our elders would pass down the traditions and moral codex of the past through clandestine rituals and rites. Over time, some traditions became muddled. Sometimes they didn't survive. Industrialization ensured that our connection to our past grew weak. That is until Pastor Holt decided that enough was enough. Jorn was a local farmer born in 1867. He was married with 3 children and part of a small pagan society here on Funen. He was a devout Christian, but also deeply involved with the conservation of pagan rituals. He knew that God speaks to us through our traditions and the natural world. In 1919, after finding out a local landowner had destroyed yet another passage grave around Sonder Esne to make way for farmland, Jorn took matters into his own hands. At the age of 52, he staged a large demonstration, blocking workers from continuing their digging, sabotaging the landowner's farming equipment. Jorn was arrested several times during this period and spent a significant amount of time in jail over the next 10 years, where he also became an ordained minister. He eventually decided to establish a church based on the teachings of our ancestors, who knew that Christianity and Old Norse religion were connected. And people followed him. The pagan society first, of course, but then many others, because they knew that the common church of Denmark didn't show the full picture. It can't explain the unexplainable. Pain, suffering, joy, ecstasy, it points to a man on a cross and says, "Look! He died for our sins." The pagan Church of Christ could explain everything. People could find meaning in their happiness and in their sorrows equally. Later pastor defined our pillars: submission, salvation, charity. The child submits to its parents, the woman to the man to God. It's submission to our past as well and to those who came before us. Only then will you find salvation, and salvation comes from rituals, sacrifice, both spiritual and physical. A balance has to be struck. And that's where charity becomes important. From parent to child, from man to woman, from God to man, forgiving and forgiving. Benevolence in their time of need. Jorn continued his campaign to preserve the passage of graves, but as he got older, his fight became less vigorous. But others got the message too, and a movement was happening in the greater society, a movement that reached national proportions. The average Dane now understood that the importance of our heritage, of the past that binds us together. After a long battle, the Nature Conservation Act of 1937 ensured the visible ancient monuments were protected by law. Pastor Holt died the same year. He was 70 years old. His work was done. You know the history of pagan... Am I hearing that correctly? Jorn Holt, as in Leia Holt? Asker nods. Leia is Jorn's great-great-great-granddaughter. Vulids is the son of Annie, Jorn's great-granddaughter. Does that mean the priesthood is inherited? No, none of his other descendants have led the church. Vulids went to America for a few years, then came back, and just as the old pastor died, he paved the way for a more modern church administration. You look over at Safa, who widens her eyes, skepticism written all over her face. Okay, my next question is, How the myths about changelings factor into this belief. We found out about these stick figures at Leia's house that she's admitted to burning. She's adamant it's a trick. Can you explain to us what that means? He's showing the evidence bag. As I said, we believe that the Bible is true, but the imagery in it is a human interpretation of God's words by people of another culture. He scratches his chin self-consciously. I'm sorry, I don't normally have to explain my faith this much. No, it's okay. We really appreciate you doing this. It's a big help. Please continue. Alright, well, so in the same way you may believe in angels and demons are among us, so do we, but we believe they take the shape of trolls and animal spirits. Like in the Bible, they're sent to us to test us at times. Sometimes they want things, like our children, and sometimes they feel bad and leave behind a changeling. However, a changeling is a bad omen. People who have been left one are often ostracized to keep the rest of the community safe. You wonder about Leia's excommunication. Was Leia kicked out of the church because they believed her child was a changeling? He hesitates. He is clearly uncomfortable talking about the inner workings of the church. It's hard to say. The way it happened, it felt wrong. I believe in our teachings, but to cast her away, it wasn't charitable. You nod. This case keeps getting more and more complicated. And we still don't know anything about who might have taken the child. We need to start putting all these pieces together. With newfound determination, you walk to the whiteboard and pick up a pen. The two officers turn to you for instructions. Alright, listen up. For the rest of the afternoon, we're mapping out all the leads we have so far. Anyone with a motive, no matter how vague, is going up on the board. The officers nod in concurrence and get to work. Late afternoon. Skolund Crow. I don't know why, I look at that word and it just goes brain dead. You push open the front door for the second time, enter the warm embrace of the inn. We're changing our outfit again. Manic shirt, baby doll, and corduroy? Corduroy, excuse me, God. You know, I've actually known that word, but never had to read it out loud. New romantic cardigan. Loose black dress. Listen, that's not a black dress, that's just an oversized t-shirt you took from a man. Alright, no, seriously. Okay, romantic shirt. These outfits are really weird, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just gonna go with a romantic shirt. It just kind of is the same, oversized shirt. Continue. Let's change your hair, apparently. Curls, crop cap, blondes, bangs. There was only one of that? If it would have had another color, I would have maybe... I don't know. Yeah, we'll go with the one blonde one. Just get in, hear what he has to say, leave. Safa will show up in an hour, if I've not finished by then as arranged. You're giving this guy an hour. Okay. You glance around the restaurant, it's less crowded, too early for the dinner rush. I mean, it is 5. In the corner, you spot Anders leaning against the wall at a secluded table, nursing a half-drunk beer. He's watching you, waiting for you to acknowledge him. Swallowing hard and steeling yourself, you stride towards him with as much confidence as you can muster. Good evening. He nods at the chair opposite him. Evening. You need a drink? No, I'm not. You need a drink. He waves over the waitress and orders 2 more beers. Fine. You sit back in your chair, observing the young man. His terse greeting and disregarding the way in which he ordered the drinks sets off an alarm in your head. As something happened, you seem distracted. He doesn't meet your eye, clenching his jaw tightly. The malicious playfulness of last night has vanished. It's nothing. He clears his throat and sits up straight. The beers arrive, and only when the woman is completely out of earshot does he speak up. Thanks for coming to see me. I want to solve this as much as you do. I thought that's the least I could do. I didn't come to see you. I thought that was the least I could do. After what happened today, Leia seemed in really bad shape after the interview. It's fine. I know it wasn't your doing. How was she when you dropped her off? In a different reality. Told me what happened at her house and then went to sleep. His eyes are devoid of emotions. With some effort, you stop yourself from visibly shuddering as he stares at you. His voice is cold and monotone. The beer stands untouched in front of you. So, why did you ask me here? Taking a long drag from his glass, he wipes the foam off the top of his lip with a brush of his thumb and focuses his attention on you. Heidegger, he thinks Leia got rid of a baby herself. That's his take, isn't it? You think she got rid of him, faking the whole thing? I can't speak about an ongoing investigation. He bangs his open hand on the table, making you jump in surprise. Just tell me, just nod, some shit. If you want me to tell you what I know, you have to give me something back. You hesitate. This is not by the book, but you're running out of options. The investigation is stagnating. More questions keep piling up at every turn. If you don't get some answer soon, it's not looking good for Alfred. Heidegger would understand we have to prioritize the child's life over protocol. Alright, yes, his current theory is that Leia could be involved in some capacity. He has not said she got rid of him. But it's implied, isn't it? I get it, loud and clear. You hear the door open and another patron enters behind you. The restaurant is still not busy, but Andrus keeps a watchful eye. Maybe he's afraid of being seen with me. Does this mean he's ready to spill some secrets? You put an elbow on the table, pretending to let your guard down, hoping to make him lower his. So what do you think happened? He fixes you with a stare. Not that Leia did it, that's for sure. She would never. She's too good for this world. You lean in conspiratorially, your fingertips resting on the wet glass, tracing the condensation. What do you mean by that? She wasn't too good for her parents? A risque statement, but he may respond to it, given the unusually prejudicial and backward attitude you've observed in the village. Nor the church. Like setting a trap, you retreat in your mind and wait for him to step on the trigger. It's so easy for you to just sit there and judge us, isn't it? Then tell me about your community. I'm not judging, I'm trying to understand the situation. The only one I'm judging is you. I mean, then tell me about the community. He snorts, but you feel confident in your question, since Asker gave you a better picture of the church only hours ago. Judging you is the last thing I'm here to do. It's not easy, you know. Being a girl here. What do you mean? We're brought up to consider girls women, below the men. I've heard as much, yes. You shudder at the knowledge. It's so far from anything you know. It was double the pain for Leia. She's an only child and the pastor's daughter. She had to be perfect. When she turned 18, she snapped, fell into depression, had panic attacks over minor decisions, and did some really crazy shit on the weekends. She couldn't tell right from wrong. We grew up together. She was always quiet, obedient, clean. Suddenly I started finding out her on the street in Odense, drunk, confused, filled with rage towards the world. I can't imagine living anywhere else, and I'll defend this place till I die. You can sense the turmoil inside of him and how he wants to both defend and condemn this little town. Been there. But the church did this. They ruined her. When you think about it, Leia's exhibiting a behavior indicative of a mother who's lost her child, but also someone suffering from a religious trauma syndrome. She's been struggling with this for 2 years alone. How did the birth of Alfred change things? I don't know. She just woke up with a purpose. The pregnancy was rough, but once she held him in her arms, it was like she knew. She knew this was over. This was it. Her purpose in life. You swallow hard for a second. You're reminded, of your own mother. But you quickly recover. Focus. You still need to know why you're here. Keep him talking. I need to ask you something. He takes a deep breath. His expression is troubled, but any malice seems to have gone out of him. He looks at you, willing to answer. I spoke with Vlads yesterday. He said something about Alfred, that I've not been able to place. That Alfred is paying for Leia's sins in his own way. Christ. You've been here all of 5 minutes. The young man shakes his head and exhales through his teeth. Whatever that was actually what I wanted to talk with you about. When Leia was pregnant, she kept it pretty hidden, even from her doctor. A girl we know and is a nurse in Odense and did the basic health checks, but otherwise she didn't bother too much with the sonograms and the tests and stuff. When he was born, it became clear something was up. Leia was inconsolable. She thought she was to blame. Village definitely thought it was her fault. Anders takes a large drag of his beer before continuing. Alfred has Down syndrome. I see. He's a great kid, healthy, developing normal. There's nothing there. He just has Downs. Leia never mentioned it. She doesn't want to talk about it. She wants him to be treated like a normal kid, but in the church... He grimaces. Disabilities are a problem. You can't have a disabled child. It's just not done. The church forbids it. For those of you watching right now, I'm just going to step out of character here for a minute and go, yes, this is actually very true. Not just churches. You pull your face back, furrowing your brow. As a person who has 2 special needs brothers, yeah. I know this all too well. How does that work? You can't just... You look into his eyes, and it makes you pause and reflect. In her interview earlier, Leia mentioned something. Her parents wanted her to get rid of the baby. Okay, I get it now. She was meant to give up the child. I don't know if it means anything to you, but I thought you should know. That's alright, I appreciate you telling me this. It could have some bearing on the motivation for the crime. You think back to the crime scene. Could it have any relevance for the kidnapper moving around in the living room? Anders, the intruder who took Alfred didn't just keep to the child's bedroom. They went into the living room, perhaps to look for something. They did, huh? Do you know if Alfred was taking any medication? Anything that the person kidnapping him might want to bring? No, not really. I just find it hard to believe they just went in to look during the kidnapping. It's risky, even if they didn't touch a lot of things. What did they touch? The door handle, the remote control. There was smut on the off button. Anders rubs his fingers together in a contemplative fashion. Whatever he's thinking, he's keeping it to himself. Maybe I shouldn't have told him those details about the crime scene. It slipped. The restaurant is slowly filling up, and Anders also seems to have reached the end of things to say and beer to drink. I'm gonna head off. Thanks for meeting up with me. You have Leia's interest at heart, and I appreciate it. He gets up and taps his fingers on the table. I'll go pay. Have a nice evening, officer. You look at his fingers as they lightly drag across the tablecloth. His hand almost grazes you as he moves past you towards the bar. It's like a different person sat in front of me just now. Almost reluctantly, you turn your head to look back, catching his broad shoulders as he walks away. I could talk with him some more. I should get going. Warning! Getting too close to Anders will have consequences. I mean, yeah, but doesn't Diamond Choices typically give you more info? I don't know. I'm gonna do it. I don't care. It's a diamond rush, after all. Ignoring any second thoughts you might have, you get up and follow the young man across the restaurant. You walk up behind him, lingering at the edge of his vision. He acknowledges you with a smirk, but then turns back to the bar. I don't have anything else to say to you, Gita. You purse your lips slowly, stepping up next to him. He gives you a curious glance. The rapid movements of his eyes tell you he's more excited than he wishes to let on. What if I have questions about you?
About me? Well,
What do you want to know? You consider the things he's told you already. Beyond his relationship with Leia and connection to the church, you know very little about his life here. What do you do for a living? Okay, I'm in construction. Do you like it?
it's good money.
Did you always want to be a builder? The young man chuckles mirthlessly. No, but I'm dyslexic, and my soccer career ended quite abruptly when I was 17. Were you any good? I was on the national U17 team, so yeah, pretty good. What happened?
Tore a ligament in my knee, couldn't run properly after the surgery.
Oof. I'm sorry to hear that.
Why? I would have been an asshole if I'd gotten famous. The bastards who tackled me did the world a favor. Now I lay bricks for a living.
A friend of mine is a carpenter. He looks as an exaggerated look of surprise. Wow, officer, not a snob after all. You roll your eyes, regretting your decision to talk with him, but you're about to turn away when he catches your arm.
I'm sorry. Don't go.
Take your hand off me, do nothing. Do nothing. His grip is firm. You look down and then up at him, staring intensely back at you. His eyes are alight with a veiled desire. In a slow movement, imperceptible to anyone watching, he starts pulling you closer, his eyes dropping to your lips again and again. You search his face in the same way, wordlessly assessing the young man. Isn't he in a relationship with Leia? Before you know it, your hip is pressed up against his thigh, and he stares down at you, cocking his head to close its space between you by a fraction. It feels dangerous. You swallow hard and then pull your shoulder back, forcing him to release you. You don't want to play. Shame. I'd love to play with you some more. Okay. The bartender pushes the bill across the bar, not blind to the tense silence between you and his customer. Go on then, city girl. Show a boy like me how you walk away in those expensive heels. There's nothing left to do but to leave. You don't look back to check if he's watching, but something tells you he never took his eyes off you. No, really. Safa was waiting for you outside as agreed, and together you're walking towards the B&B. She's animated as she relays a story from her time at the academy. Of the whole squad running for their life to avoid the tear gas. It was mayhem, complete chaos. The wind kept blowing it in the wrong direction. I might actually have heard of that one. That's so awful. I can't believe you were there. At a safe distance, or so I thought. You both laugh. In the short time you've worked together, a friendship has blossomed. Her calm demeanor and professional discipline make it easy for you to enjoy her company. You feel you can trust her. But otherwise you spend most of your time at the gym. I did cardio for years, but these hips are going nowhere. Then a friend suggested weight training, and I never looked back. It makes me feel incredible. Like a real-life Wonder Woman. The conversation briefly touches upon her extensive comic book collection before it veers back to work. So, a baby with Down syndrome, you don't see that often these days. It's another thing that I wish she told us to begin with. If the church stigmatizes disabilities that strongly, it could be a motive. Asker had to know. I think he means well, but sometimes confuses his morals with his duties. I'll talk with him about it. The dirt road underscores each step you take, and despite wanting to move past it, you stare into the darkness, searching. No eyes, no sounds. It was my imagination. You feel foolish. Now that we've gotten to know each other, would you mind telling me a little about Operation Snow? The officer smiles, a hopeful look on her face. You can sense she's been dying to ask you since the day you got assigned to each other. Operation Snow was a large desk operation 3 years ago, focusing on revisiting cold cases more than a decade old. You were part of teams of 6 people. I was finishing my master's degree at the time, and my thesis subject had caught the attention of the higher-ups. what was your thesis on? Long-term effects of unsolved disappearances, and before you starred, you really liked missing people, huh? Well, I was gonna explain that my mom, her disappearance is a cold case. She swallows, visibly shocked and embarrassed. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was terrible of me to say. You're touched by her genuine reaction. It's human, empathetic. She's a good person to the core. It's okay. There was no way for you to know. I don't talk about it normally. Still, I'm horrified at my comment. Please, accept my apology. I accept it. As I said, there was really no way of knowing. I need to develop a sixth sense for stuff like this. Seriously, like you, or better yet, like the PA Loritzen. The unexpected mention of Mads catches you off guard. The sensation of being judged on mistakes you haven't even made yet pops into your mind and makes you shiver. The protege investigator, cold to the core, a robot sent from the future to remind you that no matter how good you are at your job, he's better. Lorenzen, you think he's cool? The other officer shrugs. I think he's exceptional at it as an investigator. Professionally, I have a lot of respect for him. And non-professionally? Rumor has it the star investigator has broken many hearts across Copenhagen police force, both of higher and lower rank. Dating within the force is not a problem, but is typically not advised from an HR perspective. It's never not weird when a colleague has seen you naked. I don't think I've ever thought of him non-professionally. Really? Because of your faith, because he's a man, because he's a higher up in rank. I don't think the man thing's really gonna bother him. Or her, excuse me. Let's do the rank thing. No, that doesn't really bother me. I think I just never considered him in a non-professional manner. Have you have any thoughts in that direction? You consider the sullen detective. Well... He's very good at his job. We'll go with that. Versus arrogant or good-looking. The things you mentioned. There's no denying that he's at the top of his game. No one comes near. I'm honestly jealous. It's something to aspire to, I guess. By the time you see the faint light of the B&B in the distance, the conversation has lulled. Safa stops walking for a second. You slow down to check on her. What's up? How desperate are you to get back? Why? It's just, I've noticed the stars are really bright out here. It's not like in Copenhagen. You can actually see the constellations. You look up and the night sky is indeed clear and lit up by thousands of stars. I miss that. Bloody nature, being taken away by city lights. Want to find the Big Dipper? You know what? Yes, please. Safa smiles excitedly and looks up too. The stars scatter across the sky like familiar strangers, their light both a beacon and a mystery. You know you'll recognize the constellations when you see them, but as your eyes wander the vastness of the heavens above, it's as if the patterns have shifted just out of memory's reach. I can't find a thing. Look north. The Big Dipper's right up there. Where? I can't see it. Here, let me show you. Oh, warm hand gently and unexpectedly grabs hold of yours and pulls you to the side. You hold your breath, not daring to look down. Right there. Ursa Major. And a few stars down, Ursa Minor. Her fingers tighten. You respond by taking a more natural hold of her hand, standing there on a lonely road in the darkness, gazing at the sky. You stop each other from falling. If you look further south, you can see Pegasus, 4 stars in a diamond shape. Oh, yeah, I see it. And the Summer Triangle. Did you know that's not actually an official constellation, but an Asterism? Just a recognizable pattern of stars? I didn't know. You stand like this for a long while, hand in hand, the stars drifting in and out of focus as if conspiring to remind us how small and insignificant we are. Only when the chill starts to settle in your body do you let go of each other and walk the last stretch of home, dizzy and elated for reasons you can't fully express. It's really pretty. I love the stars. I love space. And it's true, we are so insignificant compared to the grand scheme of things. Anyway, it's still dark outside when the insistent ringing of your phone forces you awake. You fumble around for a moment, tired and half asleep. Hello, P.A. Bloom speaking. You don't recognize the number. It sounds like the caller's walking outside, almost breathless. Gita, it's me. Are you up? We have a problem. You blink a few times, trying to clear your head. What problem? What happened? You recognize the sound of a door opening. He's at the entrance to the village hall. It's Leia. She's missing. Even more people missing. I'll give you 5 on that one. I give you 5. It was a good episode. Long, good story, a lot of information. Nice stars, because, you know, stars really gained you a point. So, anyway, 7 perception, 3 inference, 5 seniority, diamonds! Alright, so episode 5 is up next, but you'll have to stay and tune in for that later. Without further ado, hopefully you all did enjoy. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts. So pretty much we've caught up on, so far, 5 books, waiting for the app to do an update. That's really great as we work out on these chapters and these books right now and playing catch-up. Missing, I believe we only have like 1 more episode to go before we're caught up on that. And then as you can see here, there's a couple other books, and then we'll be caught up on those. So do keep that in mind. But the app will be actually updating, I believe, on the 9th, which is 1 day from now. So which, by the way, there will be a new story, so stay tuned for that. I'll be posting that first thing when it first comes out. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Catch you all later. Peace out.